Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you read in today's title, today I will be talking to you guys about the best day of my life. So I will be talking to you guys a little bit about my experience with my pregnancy. So let's just jump right in. I remember that day so well because it was such an unusual day. I don't ever act that way towards Eric or my friends, or just honestly, when something's up, when you don't feel well and you feel sick. And that day I was just not feeling myself. That day I worked from 7:30 to 4 p.m. and right after my shift I wanted to head straight over to Starbucks and get myself a drink because that day it had been extremely hot and I was exhausted. I started walking over to Starbucks because the company has a Starbucks of their own for the employees. And on my way to Starbucks, there was also a 24-hour fitness tent, and people were there trying to get people to sign up for a membership. And as I was walking to Starbucks, I was with my head down trying to avoid eye contact with the guys that were there from 24-hour fitness, and one of them approached me. I was like, dang it, now I'm not gonna even go to Starbucks, like I'm gonna feel guilty. So one of them started talking to me. He asked me how long I hadn't been going to the gym, and I felt so ashamed, honestly, because it had been maybe like 2 years that I hadn't walked into a gym. So I explained to him that I had been wanting to get into fitness for a while, but I couldn't motivate myself to go to the gym on my own because I was so used to going with my best friend or my sister. And now being in a relationship with Eric, it had been over a year that I hadn't stepped into the gym, and he's not the type to constantly go to the gym, so it was really hard to choose whether I wanted to spend time with him or I was gonna go to the gym by myself, because wanting to spend time with him always won. Long story short, I went home that day, slept for 4 hours, and didn't wake up until maybe around 9:30. I woke up to Eric shaking me and whispering in my ear saying he was hungry and wanted to head out to go get food. That day I was just not having it with anything. I was extremely tired. Eric was over here waking me up and I still wanted to keep on sleeping, and he was like, babe, come on, let's go out and eat, I'm really hungry. And I was just like, no, I'm not hungry, leave me alone, I just want to sleep, and kind of like rolled over to the other side. And then he rolled me back and kissed me, and I was just like, oh, get away from me. And so he was messing around saying that he was gonna go out with his buddies, and at that time I was like such a clingy girlfriend, and on a usual day I would have been like, no, you can't go out with your friends, you have to hang out with me. But that day specifically I was just like, fine, then go with your friends, just leave me alone and let me sleep. And honestly at that point I knew that something was wrong with me, and I just like couldn't put my finger on it. And I was like, Eric, hand me that pregnancy test over there. And he opened the drawer, gave me the pregnancy test, and I went into the restroom. And I had taken a pregnancy test 2 other times, and that third time he was kind of like kidding and joking around, like, it's gonna be negative like always. And the other 2 times Eric had gone in with me to just see the results, but that day in specific it was just a very awkward day, which is why I remember it so well. That day I went in by myself, and all of a sudden I started screaming, babe, babe, come here. And he went into the restroom and he was like, what? And I was like, look, where he grabbed the pregnancy test and was like, no, no. And then he looked at me, he was like, I'm gonna be a dad. And I was like, all like tearing, crying. And both of us were like just so extremely happy, and we hugged, we kissed, and I just couldn't believe it. It was honestly so magical. And then after that I was just so excited, and I was just like, oh my gosh, we have to tell everybody. And I texted my mom, texted his mom, sent a picture to my friend. We took a picture of the pregnancy test and we sent it to they were the first 3 people that we sent it to, and it was like, it was so surreal. We wanted to be 100% sure, so the next day we went into the doctors, and again, positive. So Eric was like, okay, so this time it's for real, and now we know that you are pregnant. We just couldn't wait to be parents. And we continued to go to the doctors. Everything was fine. And maybe like 2 weeks after that appointment I started getting really bad morning sickness. I started throwing up every single day. It was to a point where I was even scared to have breakfast, get up and eat anything. And I only knew that it lasted up until like around noon. It always just faded away after when it became noon. That lasted for about 4 months that I was getting sick like that. Around 6 months, it just completely disappeared. And then started like all the back pain and my feet swelling up. My feet actually didn't swell up so bad like I've seen with my other friends. It was just the back pain. It was really bad. I get major back pains already without being pregnant, and when I was pregnant it was to the point where I felt like I couldn't even walk straight, and walking all hunched over was not helping at all. It just felt so bad. Aside from all the back pain, I also had a lot of time to rest. At the time I only worked part-time, so I had 3 days off sometimes, and when I did, I made sure that I would rest a lot. I would stay in bed and watch Jane the Virgin maybe like half of the day, and then just kind of do some chores, make sure that I was still active. But I did, for the most part, rest a lot while I was not working or on my days off. Another thing that I went through my pregnancy was the doctor himself. I had 2 different doctors from 7 weeks up until 30 weeks. I had one doctor, and then all of a sudden at 32 weeks, when I was almost done, I started seeing another doctor. My original doctor switched me over to a new one because he said that I was at high risk for a C-section, a big tear, or just the baby being so big in general. And that caused a lot of stress, honestly, being a first-time mom and thinking that you're gonna go through all these things when in your head you're thinking positive. Like in my head I was thinking I'm gonna have a normal labor, and you know, it's gonna be easy, and just positive thinking, and then just wham, be hit with all this negative stuff. And it was honestly so heartbreaking to me because I am a really positive person, and once I started hearing all of these things, I cried. I just was like trying to take precaution in what I was eating, and it was just so difficult. And everything that I did, I would blame myself for it. And honestly, if you're pregnant, that's not good, because first of all, that doctor was wrong. He said that my baby was gonna be overweight, and so she was gonna be a large baby. No, she wasn't. She was normal size, 7 pounds and 3 ounces. So it just, I don't know. He embedded in my head so many things that were pretty scary for a first-time mom, you know. And he switched me over to a new doctor at 30 weeks. Around 32 weeks, you need to start seeing a doctor every single week, or every 2 weeks, I believe. And I was just like in a rush, so hectic, and had to switch over to a new doctor, call here, call there, go visit the new doctor, make an appointment. And they didn't have an appointment like a month from now, and it was honestly so crazy. I was up to here with all of that. With the last checkup with my first doctor, we got to hear the baby's heartbeat for the last time with him, and I thought everything was fine. I did not expect him to switch me over just all of a sudden without him telling me. He had been telling me in the previous appointments that I was gaining a lot of weight all of a sudden. I lost a lot of weight within my first 4 months because of my morning sickness, and then once I hit my 6 months to my like 8 months, I gained so much weight. Throughout my pregnancy, I gained 30 pounds. So in a short course of 3 months, I gained 30 pounds, which is crazy to me to know how much weight like us women can gain throughout our pregnancy. I've known of women who go up to 60 pounds, and I'm just like, holy moly, that's like a lot of weight, you know? And so in my previous appointments, I knew that he was being strict on that, and he was constantly reminding me that I cannot be gaining a lot of weight. And when it hit that last appointment, he just randomly was like, I'm gonna switch over to a new doctor. So I was kind of like, oh wait, what's going on? They didn't send my information over, and I had to call the doctor and just get everything situated, and it was just so annoying, honestly. I went through all the normal symptoms like morning sickness, back pain, and the only thing that I think was out of the ordinary and was hard for me specifically was having to switch from doctor to doctor. I only switched over once, but having to drive here and there, make sure that they have my information, and I was so close to having her already, I think was kind of scary because you want to make sure that you're settled into a doctor. So I think that that was like one thing that I struggled with. But other than that, like my pregnancy was super amazing, and I'm so lucky to have my husband right by my side because he helped a lot with how I felt and my mood, and just always being on my side and making sure that I was happy. Overall, my pregnancy was so amazing. I did not have any of the complications like the doctor assumed that I would have, and having Eric by my side was so helpful because he always made sure that I was positive thinking, and even though I was stressing out, he always reassured me that everything was going to be okay because he was always going to be there by my side. So that helped a lot, and having my sisters and my friends, they were just all positive as well. That helps a lot while you're pregnant, is surrounding yourself with people who are positive and will always help you out and encourage you to just be better. That was it for my pregnancy experience. For having my first baby, it was like such a smooth pregnancy. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to hear my story with my labor and delivery, please comment down below. Let me know if you guys want to hear that. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys soon. Don't forget to subscribe.